Good point.
I didn't think I would slap either way.
Yeah.
Tell you who you're working with. You wanted to come in. You come over here?
Messing up, no? No, you're all right. Push it all the way back. Did it? Come on, we'll get back on. It's still on the stream, but we're just trying to get back on the monitors. Is it? What time do you have to do something right here? It's right here. There you go. Short?
No, it's your thing is loose. Your HDMI
When I was
cable
young,
is
it's short that wire.
It's HDMI socket. Let me know when it comes back on. Too much stress on it. Down. There you go.
We'll get started in a couple more minutes, about 2 more minutes. He's gonna run the slides before it too, so just let him know when we want him to advance the slide. Field? Yeah, no, communication. He's gonna let you know when he needs to slide.
Okay. So we're going this way. No, we're going that way.
Yeah, you can stand it now. You can enter. You won't put it anywhere, so. Yep.
Alrighty, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kenneth Lundy. I'm the Acting Chief of Police for the East Cleveland Police Department. Today I will outline the extensive preparations we undertook to ensure a safe environment during the Shaw reunion over the Labor Day weekend. Unfortunately, despite our efforts, we faced significant challenges resulting in at least 10 individuals being shot, with one person losing their life across 3 separate incidents. As many of you are aware, each year thousands of individuals who attended Shaw High School in East Cleveland return to celebrate the Shaw reunion over the Labor Day weekend. This year, the festivities commenced on Thursday and culminated on Sunday evening with a picnic at Forest Hill Park. Over the years, social media has played a significant role in publicizing the reunion, leading to a massive turnout after hours. Unfortunately, this increased visibility has also attracted individuals who either never attended Shaw High School or disruptors who looking to take advantage of the large crowds to commit acts of violence. With me today is Michael Tucker, Vice President of the Shaw Alumni, who will provide a more in-depth perspective on the significance of the alumni community and what the reunion represents. It is important to recognize that during the 2022 Labor Day weekend, we faced a tragic situation where 10 people were also shot, resulting in 1 fatality. This highlights the urgent need for measures to ensure the safety of all attendees and the community at large. Preparations for the reunion, operational planning. We developed a comprehensive deployment plan that focused on high traffic areas known to attract large crowds, particularly in the 15900 block of Euclid Avenue. Increased presence. All East Cleveland officers, including myself, were required to work mandatory overtime during the event. We also collaborated with Ohio State Highway Patrol to bolster our presence and improve traffic safety throughout the city. Surveillance measures. We utilized trailer-mounted cameras to monitor key areas to ensure a rapid response to any incidents. This was intended to deter potential violence and enhance overall security. Now I'll give you guys a timeline of events from that day. On September 2nd, 2024, at approximately 1:02 a.m., officers were dispatched to Euclid Avenue in Collimer for a male with multiple gunshot wounds. Immediate CPR was administered, but due to crowd congestion, the 27-year-old victim had to be carried 2 blocks by police and EMS to a nearby ambulance. During the same time frame, a female victim was located who sustained multiple gunshot wounds. The 20-year-old victim was also transported to University Hospital for medical treatment. At 2:05 a.m., officers heard an abundance of gunfire near the mobile gas station at Euclid and Shaw, leading to at least 8 victims being shot and transported to local hospitals. I even transported a female with a gunshot wound to University Hospital for treatment. At approximately 2:30 a.m., officers were dispatched and responded to 1357 Elwood Road for a male victim with a gunshot wound to the head. The 23-year-old male was also transported to University Hospital. Condition of the victims. As of now, all the victims have been released from the hospital following treatment for their injuries. However, the 23-year-old male victim from Elwood has unfortunately passed away as a result of his injuries. Our thoughts are with the family and the loved ones during this incredibly difficult time. Suspect identification. With the assistance of our law enforcement partners, we have successfully identified several suspects involved in the shootings that occurred at the mobile gas station. We are actively working to identify additional individuals who may have been involved in these incidents. As part of our efforts to solicit assistance from the community, we will be releasing photographs of the identified suspects. We encourage anyone with information about the suspects or the events that night to come forward to the East Cleveland Police Department. Your cooperation is vital in helping us ensure justice and enhance community safety. Currently, we are in discussions with the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office to determine appropriate criminal charges for the suspects involved in the recent shootings. This collaborative effort is crucial in ensuring that justice is served and that those responsible for committing these violent acts are held accountable. We understand the community concerns regarding these incidents, and we remain committed to providing updates as the legal process unfolds. Your continued support and cooperation are vital as we work together to enhance the safety and well-being of our community. While we took every possible precaution to ensure the safety of all attendees, the violence that occurred is deeply concerning. We are committed to investigating these incidents thoroughly and preventing future occurrences. Thank you for your attention, and I will now open the floor for any questions you may have.
Chief, how will this change in the future for the reunion?
I'm sorry, how has it?
How will this impact the future of the reunions at Shop?
Absolutely. So going forward, we're actually talking about plans for next year. Obviously, this type of situation can't happen again. Since COVID 2022, 2023, and this year, obviously, there's been issues. It's caused a great deal of strain on the police department and a lot of resources that's being wasted. So we're putting together plans going to next year that we don't have this type of turnout.
Any reason to believe any of these shootings are connected?
No, not at this time. We're treating them as 3 separate shootings during that weekend.
How many police officers are active on the East Cleveland police roster?
Well, I'll say this now, and I'll get you the number later. I'll say we're less than half of what we should have at this point. But just for safety reasons right now, I won't give that exact number at this moment.
And all of you guys are working that night?
Yes, including myself.
Have you ever seen anything like this in your career, these 3 within less than 2 hours to the severity?
So I thought in 2022 that was the worst. This by far this year was the worst. And you know, everyone you see up here on this stage with me, we were there, right there when it happened. And it was gunfire after gunfire, and it just kept going. Where in 2022 was more isolated to one particular area, and it was more controlled, I guess, for lack of better words. But this year was by far the worst.
More chaotic?
Yes, very.
Do we know exactly what the motive was for the shootings? Any of the shootings?
At this point, we do not.
Is there anything more the community can do or people can do to help you guys out, help identify those that you need to identify, message you want to send out?
Yeah, so like I said, if you guys, the community, anyone recognize any of these individuals' face, by all means, give us a call here at East Cleveland Police Department. They can feel free to contact Crime Stoppers, 216-252-CRIME. But we're still trying to identify others. There's others involved. There's a lot of shooters that night. We have one female that we're trying to identify who's pictured up ahead. But any help would be greatly appreciated.
And these people have nothing to do with the reunion at all, is what you said?
As our belief, they do not. Like I said, these are a lot of outsiders, for lack of better words, a lot of individuals that we consider disruptors. You see guys, showing up at a reunion with an assault rifle, you're looking for trouble, right? So we like to believe that they're coming there looking for trouble.
And you said there were 10 individuals shot, then you said there were 2 shot in the first one, then at least 8 shot at the gas station, and then the other guy, do we have a exact number or?
So 2 were shot at Euclid and Collimer, a male and a female. 7 total, am I correct, at Mobile and 1 on Elwood?
Yes.
So 7 at Mobile gas station and 1 on Elwood. And although these are 3 separate incidents, we're treated as 10 individuals total.
You mentioned social media might have had an impact, you're drawing larger crowds. How have you been, I guess, using social media to help with these investigations, if you are?
Well, we're not really using it for the investigation part. Obviously, Saturday, leading up into Sunday, Euclid Avenue was crowded, congested. Cars couldn't travel down Euclid Avenue. It kind of gave us an idea of what to expect for Sunday. We knew Sunday was going to be even worse. Over the years, Sundays has always been the D-Day where a lot of people show up. It's never really been Saturdays. So we knew if Saturday was an issue, that Sunday would be even more of an issue. But it created an issue for the police department as well as, fire and EMS, because we couldn't get safety vehicles down the street. I mean, we literally got a guy that shot twice in the chest that we had to run 2 blocks with, to get him to a nearby EMS squad to get him transported to the hospital, and the party still goes on. Everybody's still partying like no one is shot. It's just extremely chaotic. A lot of people out there. We could have had 100 police officers, 200 police officers out there. We were still outnumbered, right? It's just unsafe. It's an unsafe environment. And anytime you got large amounts of liquor being consumed, the time of night, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning is going, the propensity for something bad happening is pretty high. So you're expecting trouble. So we thought that we had everything locked down and under control, based on, our data from the previous year where, the 13900 block of Euclid Avenue was a fair amount of crowd, which is the 15900 block of Euclid Avenue, same. So we positioned ourselves on the western side of Euclid. Well, once we realized that the eastern part of Euclid Avenue was developing a more larger crowd, that's where we shipped our manpower. But that time it was too late. I mean, it was a traffic jam.
The 4 people that you've identified, did you say you had them in custody or are still out at large?
No, they're still at large. We're in the process of having continued conversations with the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office, and we'll see what charges are appropriated for those individuals, and we'll get them in.
What's the danger level for the public with them being out and about?
Well, I would say pretty high. I mean, when you have guys walking around with assault rifles like this, I mean, and guys to be considered armed and dangerous. I mean, you're shooting in a crowd of thousands of people, and me, even as a police officer, I was terrified. I had Commander Marche in my vehicle with me. We just had cleared University Hospital from taking the first victim who was shot at Collimer to University, and the gunfire literally went right next to us. So that's just a perfect opportunity to take a shot at a police officer or take a shot at anybody you may be having issues with or beefing with, for lack of better words. It's a lot of people. So I think, with the crowds, a lot of folks, they do things like this to commit the acts of violence because they figure, hey, it's thousands of people out here. I would never be able to be identified. Well, there's cameras everywhere, right? So we had 2 cameras positioned in the area, and things helped us out.
The thought process back in the day was cameras could keep crime down because everybody knows they're being watched. Is it not happening nowadays? Because there are cameras everywhere and everybody's like, oh, they just don't care.
So personally, I don't think in the heat of the moment they think about the cameras. That's our thought process. Hey, if we put the cameras up with the flashing blue lights, everyone say, hey, I'm being recorded, let me not do anything. But in the heat of the moment, when things happen, honestly, I don't think they care.
And with all of your officers at this event, right? Is this, when something like this happens, do your officers, are you finding guys are giving up and saying, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too close. We don't have enough people. It's not safe. Are you finding that out, or are you just, are your men content with staying in their jobs and doing what they have to do?
I mean, we're always going to do our jobs as police officers, but at the end of the day, we're still human beings, right? So it does get to the point where it gets old. Over the years, we're out there, 2022, lots of gunfire happening. I mean, this happens right when the police is there. So, that's the scary part of it. But the guys, we understand what we signed up to do. They're going to go out there and do their jobs. But at the same time, you say to yourself, it's getting old. We can't continue to go each and every year dealing with these issues.
Is the department working with the city, any outside agencies to make sure something like this doesn't happen again? I mean, you mentioned, obviously you're down officers, and even you were scared. Is there anything, what's being done, I guess, to take the next steps to make sure?
Yeah, so currently we're not working with any other law enforcement partners to plan for next year. Our hopes is that we will work with the Shaw alumni to try to figure out going forward, what we're going to do. There's some thoughts that we have in mind as far as the bars potentially being closed next year. Some of the permits that were issued this year, maybe not issuing any permits next year. So there's some planning going into place now to prepare for next year, and maybe if someone want to organize something where it's a gathering in a more controlled environment and not taking up Euclid Avenue.
are you you said you're down in the department. What is keeping people from signing on here?
Well, it's not just East Cleveland. I mean, it's police departments across the nation. Everybody's shorthanded. I remember years ago when, you had thousands of applicants. They would apply to take a test. Nowadays, you're not seeing that. Every department nowadays is doing lateral transfers, and every department is poaching on from the next department because this department may pay $2 more an hour. I think for us, our pay was an issue at one point, which we just negotiated a contract for our police officers and our dispatchers, so we're hoping that we can get more applicants coming in sooner than later. But overall, I just think people just don't want to be police anymore.
So your plea tonight, real quick. What do you want with these 4 and the other 2? What's your plea?
So I would hope someone or anyone who recognized any of these individuals' faces to call into the East Cleveland Police Department. The help would be greatly appreciated. That way we can get these individuals off the streets. Clearly they're dangerous. A lot of people were injured. One person lost their life. But we want to get them off the street as soon as possible.
And for those that have been identified, turn yourself in, because we're going to be coming for you.
As a community organizer, along with the Shaw Alumni Association, what the chief said is very important: communication. And if the Shaw alumni, the police, the businesses, and the organization can communicate together, we can do a whole lot in this community. But let me go a little further. The chief and this police department, they're understaffed and underpaid, but that night of this, the chief himself went through a large crowd and took a victim himself out, did you, chief?
Yes, sir.
And pull him through the crowd to safety. That's what so many of these police officers are done in this affair. So the manpower they have, it was heroic what they did, and I just want to make sure that you all understand that. And also, Shaw Alumni, come here a minute, sir. Listen, this organization, I did the Love Fest for 28 years. After I left, the Shaw Alumni came on, and man, they've been doing it for many, many years. No problem. What they try to do in our community is have the businesses and the family picnic upstairs, and it's worked good for all these years. But times are changing. That's why communication is important. But make no mistake about it. This organization, the Shaw Alumni Organization, they're a great organization. They're a family organization. Tell them a little bit about it, brother.
Well, basically, our focus for that weekend is for the students of Shaw High School. So to add to what he was saying, our event starts on Thursday, which is a meet and greet. So we do a Friday, a party with a purpose, and we end Sunday at Forest Hill Park. It's a family picnic, which our event ends at 6 p.m. So we don't sanction anything Saturday. We don't sanction anything after 6 p.m. on Sunday. It's very unfortunate that this happened, but this is not our mission, and we don't support anything like this. So the Shaw Alumni Association, the reunion, had nothing to do with this at all. As the chief said, we're trying to work together to find a solution for that after gathering after the park.
Come on up here, brother.
Could you say your
Yes,
say
sir.
your names, please?
Michael Tucker.
All right, so that's all I wanted to say. Is communication is the key, and no matter what you say about this department, that night with thousands of people, they did a tremendous job. Let's
Thank you,
face
sir.
that. They did a tremendous job. People were hurt, people were shot, and they went and risked their lives in the midst of the crowd and brought those people out. You understand? You can say whatever you want. It was a heroic effort. And so on behalf of the community, I just want to say this in closing. If we work together and communicate, business, community organization, Shaw alumni, the police, the mayor, we can make this happen. And next year we'll have a better festival. We'll know how to work it, and everything will be fine. Thank you so much.
And Chief, is the community helping you guys? How are they helping you? Are they doing?
Well, we're getting help from like local, businesses at this point. This is the first we're putting the photos out to the public, but certainly the businesses, they've come forward and helped us out a lot.
Was there anything, Mayor, I see that you're here now, is there anything you wanted to add about, just kind of what happened in the investigation, how places went down?
I'm sure the captain has given you an update as to where we are with the unfortunate circumstances surrounding the Labor Day celebration, right? I would like to make clear so that we're all clear, we're all on the same page. This had nothing to do with the Shaw alumni and nothing to do with the events around the Alumni Association. In fact, it had nothing to do really with East Cleveland residents. So I'm sure the captain has alluded to as they uncover some of the bad actors that were involved with this. They're not East Cleveland residents. So I just want to make that point clear. And certainly if you had any other follow-up questions that I may have missed.
What do you guys do as a city to beef up the ranks in the police department? What are you guys doing?
To beef up the ranks? It's a great question. So through proper negotiations with the union, we were able to provide a raise at all levels of the police department that the union and the brass feel will attract more candidates. So that's one of the things we've done. Anything else?
Can you tell us what area these the four are that were caught? Where they're from? Do you know?
Mainly the Cleveland area. I would say in the 4th District area, if you guys are familiar with that. Kinsman. King Kennedy CMHA housing projects.
There is, sorry, to interrupt, nothing else on this. Mayor, I just had a question for you, if you had any comment about any of the recent allegations about the fire department here in East Cleveland and issues that are going on there with their equipment.
Fire department and equipment. So since you asked that question, I want you to know and understand that it is our intent, my intent as the CEO of the city, to provide every department with adequate resources, whether it's equipment, personnel, so that they can safely and effectively do their jobs, right? Right now, the fire department, and please understand this, we have 2 fire stations, Firehouse 1, Firehouse 2. They are built to hold 2 pieces of equipment, 1 EMS truck and 1 fire truck, whether that's a ladder truck or just a pumper. 2 stations to hold 2 vehicles. At this point in time, we have 4 EMS vehicles. 4 EMS vehicles, right? That are running, right? We have 2 pumper trucks that are running. We have 2 100-foot ladder trucks that are running, right? We want to get the pumper that is been constructed for East Cleveland, right? We're having some issues internally that we are working through to provide that, right? Number of steps need to be taken, both from the administration and from legislation, from the legislative perspective, to get that truck to make that happen, right? But rest assured, We have 200-foot ladder trucks. One of them is about 5 years old. We have 2 pumpers, right? And we have 4 EMS trucks. And I always tell the residents, right? I know the fire department wants to secure these, and we were able to go and pick up the EMS truck maybe a couple weeks ago. At any given time, and I challenge you, when you leave here, when you go outside, you'll see cars parked, you'll see trucks, equipment parked outside. And when you hear the story of the fire department being heroes, they are. They do an excellent job, right? And it's my job to provide them with the equipment. So I hope that answers your question. Anything else? Okay, I'll leave you with a tidbit. Apologies for being late. As you know, we have been short resource, including staff and the ability to go after and secure funding. We were able to secure distressed city technical assistance through HUD, and the HUD TAs are in town, and I had to show them some things that we're working on in the city. Took a little longer than expected, so my apologies for being a little late to this. But I wanted to make sure we're securing funding and resources for tomorrow.
How much is that funding?
How much is the funding? It's technical assistance. What they do is they bring in TAs to then help us go after grants, right? To help us best use our CDBG and HUD home dollars. And those are some of the things that we're working on. So I wanted certainly to show them some of the challenges that we're looking at in the city, some of the things we're faced with, as well as giving them a tour of the MLK, which is our civic center that also we're looking to provide senior services out of. So, okay, that concludes I'd like to thank Art McCoy, I'd like to thank Mr. Tucker for showing up. I'd like to thank Men in Blue for all you do. I'd like to thank you all for coming out.
Thank you all.